Hello everyone. Today's poem is 正月十五 by Su Weidao. Before I started this poem, let's look at the beautiful place at Stanley, Hong Kong. So, behind me is a small temple. It's so-called North Immortal or 北地庙 in Chinese, and face the Stanley Bay in front. Okay, let's see. That's a beautiful Stanley Bay. Okay, the small temple, 北地庙. The title 正月十五 means January 15th in lunar calendar, of course. It's the first full moon's day in a year, and it is the most fun day through the year in ancient China until the end of Qing dynasty, actually. And unfortunately, this year, 2020, is a very, very silent festival, the Lantern Festival or 元宵 Festival. So we have so many names for this festival. Because the coronavirus, everybody knows it. Everybody stayed indoor. No activity, no contact with other people beyond family members. Anyhow, we're looking forward to the next Lantern Day, 正月十五, the most fun day in the traditional Chinese holidays. Why the Lantern Festival distinguished among all the Chinese traditional holidays? There's two main reasons. First thing first, in the ancient China until Qing dynasty, the end of Qing dynasty, in a normal town or a big village, it was all surrounded by walls. When the day goes dark, the door of the wall closed, so nobody was allowed to go out of the town or get into the towns, and everybody should stay indoors. Even you cannot walk on the street to go to a restaurant, go to bars, nothing. By law, this ban was only lifted 3 days in a whole year. The day ahead of the Lantern Festival, the day after the Lantern Festival, of course, the day Lantern Festival. So 3 days you can walk on the street whole night, and you can find all kinds of entertainment, gaming, gambling, puzzling, dancing, the line dancing, the most featured game, the line dancing, is all about this day, the Lantern Festival. And the second main reason is the women, the girl, was allowed to get out of her family to walk on the street freely. That's the only 3 days in a whole year. So you can just imagine all the other 300 more days on the street is all male person with very, very little lower level women, the waitress or sort of the servants, very low level female person on the street. So all the women or girls from the decent family, from the middle to upper level families, they are forced to stay indoor the whole year. And only in this Lantern Festival, every woman, every girl, they can walk on the street freely all night long. So you can imagine what would happen. So in the Tang dynasty, there's so many things happened between the young male and females in these 3 days. But in the poetry, it reflects a little bit, but not much. And in the poetry after Tang dynasty, if the poem was about Lantern Festival, it was always related with the love affairs, or could be a very happy love affair, or could be a very sad love affair. So there's so many famous poetry, famous sentences about this day, about the love, the young love. So the Lantern Festival is quite similar like the carnival. You have 3 days to spoil self. Without the background of Lantern Festival, the poem is quite simple. 火树银花合，星桥铁锁开。火树 the tree of fire. It's not tree of fire, it's tree of lantern. So many lanterns was attached to the tree branches, so made the tree looks like burning, like a tree of fire. 银花 the silver flowers. It's not flowers, it's fireworks. So 火树银花 became a very, very famous sentence, words, since this poem. And Chairman Mao has quoted 火树银花 in one of his poem, 火树银花不夜天. So next time you see 火树银花, you know it's the tree of lanterns, the fireworks bloom. So that's the things about. 和 means the lanterns, the fireworks, they are so crowded, so it's just like a mess. It's all over everywhere. So there's no space between the lanterns and fireworks. All the space, all across the heavens, is about lantern. It's about fireworks. Just imagine it. And also the verb 和 it means the two things meet up, enclosed. It also respond to the next sentence. 星桥铁锁开. 开 means open or break up. So 星桥 is a very famous bridge in Luoyang city in Tang dynasty. So the Luoyang is the east capital. The government will move to Luoyang for some months during a year. And when this poet Su Weidao, he wrote this poem, it's the regime of the female emperor. 武则天, the emperor, the female emperor, the only female emperor in the Chinese history. And she wants to avoid the traditional, the political powers in the Chang'an city. So she stayed in Luoyang city all the time. And this poem was written in the time of her regime. So it's very naturally everything depicted in this poem is about Luoyang city. The bridge is in Luoyang city, Star Bridge, 星桥. And 铁锁 is a defense defense facilities. So the city normally has rivers go into the city, especially in Luoyang, big cities like Luoyang. The iron chains will cross the river to avoid the enemies to go into the capital city through the river. So that's the iron chains 铁锁 about. And here it depicts the star bridge which goes into the royal palace. It opened, so all the servants in the royal palace, they have their chance to go out to enjoy the big holiday, the fantastic holiday. And also even the iron chain, which is a defense facility, was opened, so the touring boat can go throughout and get into the city just for fun. So this day the city gate, or the water gate of the city, was all opened all night during these 3 days. It's a very, very special day. You can see from the first sentence. 暗尘随马去，明月逐人来. So it depicts the scenario of this day. The dark dusts went with followed the quick horse. So it depicts in the main street in the capital city, in Luoyang city, a lot of the noble people, high-ranking officials or rich people, they have quick horse, so they tour in the whole city with his or her horse, and the horse aroused the dark dust. Normally you never see it in normal days, but because of the fireworks, the lanterns, you see everything, even the dark dust. 明月逐人来, so this point out the date from another angle. The full moon, the bright full moon, it follows the people. Of course, the moon never follows people, but it's reflected the joyful feelings of everybody. So the nature, the moon, is as your wish, it follow you. The second paragraph very naturally goes to the people. 游伎皆秾李，行歌尽落梅. 游伎, so the touring girls. The ji is not normal girls, it's the girls, the dancing girls who are singers in the entertainment place, just like the bars today. And this tradition still has some of the remained in Japan. Geisha, so that's the geisha, very quite similar. So Yoji refers to these girls, they have their vocations as well, so they go around the street. And 接秾李, 秾李 means they have very, very thick makeup, and the color is very, very thick. Li is a flower, so it's a very 秾李 always tells the girl have a very, very strong, heavy makeup. Why not? This is the most fun day in a year, and this is the only 3 days they can go out freely. 行歌尽落梅. The geisha, the most beautiful and shining girls in the whole night, in the whole capital city. They sing songs when they tour in the whole city. They sing the song 梅花落, the plum flower falls. Maybe that's the trendy of the times. So this sentence says they always sing songs when they touring around the capital city, and they only sing this song, the 梅花落, the plum flower falls. So you can feel the a little bit crazy, happy hours in this special day. 金吾不禁夜，玉漏莫相催。金吾 is actually an object. It's almost identical to today's baton of the police. It has the same usage actually, and here it refers to the person, the police in the capital city. So the police, they are off duty this day. They don't arrest anybody who get up their home, walk on the street in the night. 禁夜 means curfew. So there's no curfew in these 3 days in the Latin festival. 玉漏莫相催. 玉漏 actually is a instrument, timing instrument. It's just treated as an ancient Chinese clock. It used to tell you which hour it is. It's just like the clock. 玉漏, the jade漏means it's from the royal palace. So 玉漏莫相催 means the clock in the royal palace don't expedite, don't call me. Expected for what? Call for what? A close, because it's only 3 days, and then everything should be returned to normal. And the last sentence explained the feelings of everybody that you can spoil yourself because the police is off duties. There's no curfews in these 3 days, and the time is always too short for me to spoil myself. The royal clock, the emperor, please don't call me. I want to have this festival, have this happy hours as long as I could. Okay, that's about this poem. And one more thing about the poet, Su Weidao. He was one of the famous poets in the early Tang period, one of the founders for some of the basic rules of the Tang poetry. Anyhow, through the whole Tang dynasty, he's not so famous actually. What makes him more famous is by his descendant, Susur, the most famous poet and writer in the Song dynasty. I have several videos about Susur's poetry as well. You can check it out. Okay, that's all about the poetry. Now let me give you a tour about the Stanley. This is the Murray house, and then the pier. It was removed from the central to this place some years before, and the bay, Stanley Bay. And then you see the village, and right in the front is several bars. That's the place I have some snacks, have some coffee and beers sometimes. Okay, now the Murray house, which was also relocated from the central to here. The beautiful Stanley Bay. And bye bye.